Hey, I'm Chris Cooper. I've been publishing every day for 20 years, and today I'm going to show you how to publish a week's worth of content in less than 30 minutes using AI. This is Run a Profitable Gym. I'm the founder of Two Brain Business, but even 20 years ago when I had a personal training practice, I was publishing daily content. I didn't learn this stuff from a guru. I didn't learn it from an email writing professional. I learned it from guys like Henry Rollins, the lead singer of Black Flag, who would handwrite a love letter to all their fans once a month and take it to an old school mimeograph machine back in the 80s and then mail it out and hand address these things. Tony Robbins started the same way with newsletters. And when I was trying to get my first clients, I was writing a blog post. I'd print it out. I'd have my little focus logo on the top, and I would hand this out to people in my gym. This is a great marketing strategy still, and it's even more important right now because when people are searching for you, obviously, if you have a lot of content published, you've got great search engine optimization. But this is becoming even more important now in the age of AI because a lot of people are searching using LLMs. They'll go into ChatGPT or Claude and they'll say like, hey, should my kids lift weights? Or what's the best advice for a gym business? And the agent or the AI bot, that'll do the actual searching for them. And if you don't have content out there, there's nothing for that bot to find. It's critical now that you have this stuff. Now, I've been saying this for probably 20 years. A tiny percentage of gym owners actually follow this advice. So today I'm going to show you how to make a week's worth of content in less than 30 minutes. I'm going to walk you through my actual process step by step from finding an idea to actually doing the recording with the hardware to getting it on a podcast hosting platform to having it all scripted out and all the social media assets made for you. Then if you want to just go sign off this podcast and make the thing, do it. Good. Publish. If you want to stick around, I'll show you the full stack, all the different tools and features that I use. But I'll warn you, there's a lot to it and it's exciting and you might get carried away going down that rabbit hole. So if you're going to get paralyzed by talking about AIs and that's going to stop you from actually publishing content, just follow the short stack and get some content published. Okay, so first, the reason that most people don't publish enough content is they have this mental block about it. Usually it's because they think, I don't have any ideas. Here's what I want you to do. To solve that problem, you're going to make an appointment with yourself every single week. Monday, 9 a.m. or Monday, noon, you are going to record what I call a QuickCast. A QuickCast is about a 10 to 15 minute podcast every single week. We're going to get a blog post out of this. We're going to get 5 social media posts out of this. We're going to get an audio streaming podcast, and it's going to be easy. The reason that you want to make that appointment is because if you know that you're going to be recording at Monday, 9 a.m., then you will notice the ideas that are around you. You don't have to brainstorm. You don't have to think up new ideas. You'll just notice the ones that are already there. So the example that I'm going to use is this great email that I got from a parent. She's a parent of a 14-year-old volleyball player, and she's decided to bring her whole kids volleyball team in to train at the gym. But she asked this great question about strength training for kids, and 14-year-olds aren't kids, but strength training for adolescents. Is it safe? Should they go heavy? Should they do like bodybuilding or should they do like running? I'm going to answer that in a quick cast because I think my whole audience will benefit from hearing from that. And you'll benefit from watching the entire process too. We're going to go through this. It's going to take me maybe 20 minutes to actually publish this thing, but 30 minutes from now, you should have something ready to go if you follow these instructions and ready to record. Okay. So the first thing, the first 2 rules, number 1, don't let the tools slow you down. If you know what to do after watching the first 10 minutes of this video, go do it, publish. Second rule is capture, don't create. Look for things to talk about instead of brainstorming things. And if you have an appointment with yourself Monday at 9 a.m. to publish, you will see things. Okay, let's start with what you're going to need for what I would call the short stack version. There's a couple of different tools that I'm going to use here. So this process basically starts as soon as you've got an idea. My idea is going to be, is weight training safe for kids? Then I'm going to turn to a couple of different tools. Now, the first tool I'm going to use is just voice recorder on my phone. I'm going to make an audio version and we're going to publish that as a quick cast. There are a couple of things that I'm going to use to help me. So the first thing is I've got an idea and I'm going to just do a brain dump of everything that I know about the topic right into my phone. I quite often do this while I'm actually driving to work where my podcasting studio is. And then I've got all of my ideas out of my brain already and onto paper. The voice recorder on an iPhone, and this is probably like an iPhone 8, does transcriptions for you. You're going to need that later. But first, let's just do a quick brain dump. So I just did a little brain dump. It looks like I got 6 minutes and 7 seconds of podcasting time here. What I'm going to do is upload that and the transcript into Claude. Now, you can get a free Claude account. You don't have to have a paid Claude account to do this. But this is really where we go from just having a lot of knowledge to having something that's interesting, consumable, concise, sticky, shareable that your clients or your listeners can share with their friends and find useful. Okay, so in Claude, I've got a project set up called Catalyst QuickCast episodes. And each episode is going to be 7 or 8 minutes long. I'll talk a little bit, and then I'm going to open up the Catalyst programming and just give people a preview of what's coming next week so that they can understand there's an intent behind each workout. That also takes care of like half of your QuickCast for you because you know your programming and you know the point of it. So here's what I've done. In this project in Claude, I have uploaded the audio file that I just did in my brain dump. I got the transcript from the voice recorder on my iPhone and just pasted that here too. And then there's another resource that I really like. And it's this article from the CrossFit Journal. I actually wrote it years ago covering the science of youth training. So if you have something that was written by somebody else or you've written in the past, by all means, add it to the instruction. So the prompt is really what counts here. And I've said in this prompt, I'd like to record an episode. Is training safe for kids? I'm going to paste this prompt for you. The key, though, is that in past prompts, okay, here's past episodes, I have told Claude, here's what I want. And what Claude is going to do here is give me first like a podcast script. So what that's going to do is just kind of organize my thoughts, stop me going off on these tangents, make it really concise, simple, easy for people to understand. And I'm going to read that script in a moment. Then out of that, it's going to make for me like a WordPress blog post. It's going to make at least 5 social media posts with my logo and all formatted nice. And then it's going to make a bunch of other things here too. Okay. So a featured image for WordPress, summary for the podcast hosting platform. So here we go. I'm just going to hit send and let's see what we get. Now, while this is processing, and this is very fun to watch because one thing about Claude is it tells you what it's doing as it's doing it. We're just going to hop over to the second part of the QuickCast because I told you this was going to be easy. So the first part is going to be about 6 minutes long. The second part is me just walking through our programming for the week. These are all done a month in advance at my gym. And so what I can do is say, okay, let's talk about the group programming at the Catalyst. And here we go. So on the 4th, which is a Monday, we're going to be starting with X. And the point of zone 2 work is Y. Then Tuesday, we're going to be working on some high intensity interval training stuff. And we're also going to be doing some strength. And then I can talk about like, here's the point and here's how you should tackle this HIIT workout. Then here's the point of us doing front squat and bench press this month. Okay. So that's going to round out a really nice QuickCast episode for me. I'm going to have like a super good introduction. Is weight training safe for kids? That's going to be about 7 or 8 minutes. And then I'll just hop over to this and I'll record that too. I'm going to do all of that once Claude cleans up my script for me and gives me something really, really tight and interesting for my audience. So we're going to give it about 2 more minutes here and then it'll be done and I'll have a better podcast script. Okay, so Claude took about 4.5 minutes to do all this work, and you can have it presented as a markdown file. Don't worry about what that means, but we're just going to copy paste everything right out of here. So what it gave me was this doc, and the doc is going to have a podcast script for me to read. It's going to have show notes with chapter markers and reference links so that I can just copy and paste that right into my audio hosting platform. It's going to have a hosting platform summary so that I can just post that right with my podcast. It's going to have a blog post. It's going to have a YouTube title, description, tags, and thumbnail copy. Don't worry about that if you're not publishing to YouTube yet. It's going to have Instagram carousel, the text that goes with it, all the graphics, an email newsletter blurb, and captions for the featured image too. It's pretty good for about 4 minutes of work. And so here's what we're going to do. The first thing that we're going to be doing now is actually recording it. So I'm going to go to the podcast script. And what you'll find here is that it's a more concise version of my brain dump plus the article that I gave it to read. So it tied everything together. It checked the research, which is really important. That's another reason I like Claude. And now all I've got to do is just read this. So I'm going to pull up my phone again. I'm going to read this whole file. So I've got a nice clean podcast. And then I'm going to open up my other piece of software. And we're going to upload the podcast there. But before I go read this for you, it's exciting for me to share this. So let's just take a look at the graphics that I made. Now, I haven't seen these either. Okay, so here is my WordPress featured image. Here is the YouTube thumbnail. So if I decide to record this as a video, there it is. It's given me an Instagram carousel, slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, slide 5. Okay, looks pretty good, right? We've got all of that stuff and the script. So while I'm excited to just jump ahead and put all this stuff on Instagram, I'm going to read the script first, and then I'm going to upload that. When you put this prompt in, you'll get all of this stuff too, and you can use it any way that you want to. The screen you're seeing now is called Captivate. And when you publish a QuickCast or any audio recording and you want to get it on Apple and you want to get it on Stitcher or any of the other services, you have to have a platform that distributes it for you. And that's what Captivate is for me. I think it's like $9 a month or something, but you pick the one that you like. Here's what you're going to do, because now we've got all these assets. So the first thing we're going to do is just create a new episode. So I'm going to quickly just like upload the audio file that I just recorded here. Then I've got everything else is just waiting for me over in Claude. So Claude puts everything into a markdown file. It's on the right-hand side of the screen. And I'm just going to do a bunch of copy pasting right from Claude into, there we go, my podcast hosting platform. So here's the script that I just read into my phone to create the audio file. The next thing that we're going to find here is we got the show notes here. I can paste those, all the references if I want them here. Okay. Here's the platform podcast summary. It actually gave me a couple of different ones. I'm going to use the long summary, which is best for Apple Podcasts. Okay. And again, it's just a copy paste here. Boom. And there we go. I'm live. So now all I've got to do in Captivate is basically just schedule this and I'm done. The whole process was about 7 minutes of doing a voice dump, about 4 or 5 minutes of typing in the prompt, giving it like the audio file or the script or whatever, and letting it process and make all these materials. It's going to take me 3 or 4 minutes to get this published on my podcast. Okay. So now I can just like schedule this. I'm going to schedule it for Sunday, like my podcasts always come out. And then I'm just going to hit publish. The next thing that I'm going to do here really quickly, because you've done it now, you've created really good content and we've got all these other assets here too. You can see like we've got our Instagram carousels, we've got our featured images for WordPress. You know, we've got just a ton of assets here. You can see them all. I'm just going to quickly go over and make the blog post so that you can see that too. Now I use a Kilo website, which is just absolutely beautiful. And I can really quickly copy my old posts here. So I'll go back to a podcast post. I'll duplicate that. It takes about 4 seconds here to duplicate it. I'll edit it. Okay. Is training safe for kids? Let's go back to our markdown file here. There we go. There's my email, by the way, so I can send that out tomorrow. There's my slide blurb. Here's my YouTube if I wanted to do this as a video, whatever. Okay. And now here's the long WordPress post. And here we go. Is training safe for kids? What the science actually says. So Claude has given me a slightly different title than I've used in the podcast. That's okay. Okay, keep in mind that I just copied an old podcast here. So here's the entire blog post in this file that Claude created and wrote for me. Now, remember, this is not AI generating this stuff for me, right? It's my ideas. It's the points that I want to make, but it's organized in a concise way that makes it really easy. It's clear, it's shareable, it's sticky. It's really just a better podcast than I would have created on my own. And all this other stuff, this social media stuff, it's just drawn from the podcast. So I'm not just like turning AI loose on my audience. What I'm using is AI as an editor, as a content creator for like Instagram, making up the little pictures. This is easily 3 hours worth of work, and it got it all done in about 6 minutes for me. What that means is that now I've got 25 minutes to invest in human stuff, having conversations. I was talking to my friend Ville from Finland this week, and we got to have this great conversation about AI. And in the end, I said, the thing I like best about AI is now we can have these conversations. If I wasn't using AI to do this kind of stuff, I wouldn't have time to make these videos for you. I wouldn't have time to chat with you on Facebook or make other stuff to help you too. So I'm just going to copy paste all of this stuff Now, Claude knows I like a long blog post. I like, good SEO content. I like stuff for the AI engines to share. I'm just going to paste this right into my blog. There it is. It's done. Now I'm going to just put the featured image in here that Claude made for me. Okay, so we'll go back. We'll find the WordPress featured image. There it is. Download it. Replace this one with that one. So easy. Slowed only by my internet connection here. There's all the pictures from the gym. You can see previous podcasts, on there. There we go. Set featured image. And it's done. I've got a blog post done. All I have to do now is just basically hit publish. This is an insertion. If people want to see like the video or the podcast player here, they can, but really I want them to subscribe. Okay, so I just put a previous episode in there as an example. Now go do it. Go make it. There's probably an episode in your head waiting. If you don't know what episode to record, think about the last thing that a client asked you or the last question you overheard at the coffee shop that had anything to do with fitness. Go record that. Do a brain dump. Put it in something like Claude and say, hey, make me a podcast episode. I'm going to share my prompt right below this video so that you can just copy paste that into Claude if you want to. And you'll get all these amazing assets that I get too. Now, if this was rudimentary to you or it's too easy or you've done it once and you're ready for more, I'm going to show you the whole stack. How to use this with video, how to make reels, all kinds of cool stuff too. But the bottom line here is like, if you still haven't produced content, stop this video, go produce it, publish for a few weeks, and then come back and watch the rest if you really want to go deep. There's always something to hide behind. There's always a reason to not hit publish. And sometimes that's just the tools. We're so excited about all the AI. We want to learn, and we never actually do anything. Let's review what we've got so far. We took an idea, a question that a parent asked me, and we turned that into a QuickCast. We turned that QuickCast into a blog post. We got an email out of that, and we got 5 social media graphics. We got a WordPress graphic. We got a podcast platform description. We got a ton. And all we used was the voice recorder on our phone. We used Claude to kind of clean things up and make these social tools for us. And we used a podcast hosting platform. I just briefly showed you how I put this on my website to illustrate how easy this is too. But if you want to take this a step further, the real play is to use video. And so now I'm going to show you, here's exactly how I produce all of this stuff on video using the same type of tools and actually get amazing results. But this takes up to an hour. So the process starts the same way. You've got an idea. You do a brain dump, okay? You get like the transcript from that brain dump and the audio file. You put it into Claude with all of, the supporting documents or like the references that you like. Let Claude pull all those together into a meaningful script. Then instead of just reading that script into a phone or a voice recorder, you're going to actually read it and do it as a video. So what I would do here, if I was recording this fresh, is I would change the background. This is actually my office in my house. I would change my background to something that looked more like a gym. Welcome to my gym. This really is my gym as a background. And then I would just really quickly record the exact same podcast process. Now we're going to upload this video to Descript, and Descript is a fun little platform. I'll show you in 1 second that lets you edit your audio and your video at the exact same time by showing you the transcript of both. And if there's weird words or ums and ahs, you can just delete the word and then it automatically trims that section out of the video and the audio. It is amazing. It looks a little bit daunting the first time you use it, but after you've used it once, you've got it down. It takes 5 minutes to do really good video production. And then we're going to put it on YouTube. That video is also going to get us a dozen different reels, and we're going to use a tool called OpusClips to do that for us too. So we're going to be using a bunch of different tools right now. I'm going to share those with you. So this is Descript, and I've been using Descript for a little while, but it's really fast to learn. The first time you ever use it, you'll know all of the most important parts. So there's a few things right off the bat. You want to always like hit the studio sound button. Okay, get Descript working on that so that you get out the background noises. If you're using something like a mic that plugs into your phone or whatever to record, that's absolutely fine. And what a lot of people do is they'll get a teleprompter app right on their phone. They'll have a really good mic plugged into the bottom here, and or they'll just hold the mic right here. You probably see the influencers doing that, and they'll record it, while they're just reading off that teleprompter. It's a great way to do it, and you get good video. Then what you do, no matter where you get your video from, and I use Zoom, you just drop it here. Now, this video is the episode that I literally made last week called "What is Fitness?" And I wanted to talk about, what does it mean to actually be fit for our local audience? So I drew a lot from the Greg Glassman material, but I also drew a lot from different definitions of fitness. And then I had a lot to say about, like, for some of you, fitness might mean the ability to perform at your firefighting job. It might mean the ability to perform as a lumberjack. It might mean the ability to do X, Y, Z. There's different ways to measure it. You can listen to the podcast if you want to hear it. I dropped the video into Descript, and what Descript does is it starts building the transcription. Okay, that's cool, but there's lots of tools that will build a transcription. Where this gets interesting is when you press the AI tools button and you say something like edit for clarity. Now, if you pick the low intensity setting here, what it will do is just get rid of the obvious repetition. If it'll get rid of the ums and the ahs and the ifs and the repeated words. Okay. If though you pick something more like moderate, what it's going to do is try and cut the stuff that is unnecessary to get your point across. So let's start with low and just see what it kind of picks up. Okay. Now, Underlord is like the AI engine behind Descript. So here's what you get. If you're looking over here, it's suggesting that I cut this text, all the stuff with the line through it. It's saying you don't need that. That's repetitive. Maybe it's redundant. And so all I got to do here is hit the check mark, and that's gone. Not only is it cut out of the transcript, it trimmed that out of the video. Bananas. Okay. If I want to keep that text, I just hit the X. No, I'll pass on that one. Okay. Here we go. The best CrossFit Games athlete in the world is not going to compete at the Boston Marathon. Do I want to say that? Yeah. I'll leave that in. Okay. But right here, I talk about carrying things, going to the deli, knocking on doors. I didn't remember what I was saying there. Yeah. Cut that. So it's trimming the video as we go. That's really amazing. From there, I'm going to use a different AI tool. Okay. And there we go. We'll go back to remove filler words. Now, this is really easy, and I've already been through this. If not, you would see probably 20 times when I say or wow about, or something where I'm repeating myself, right? Something redundant. That stuff that when you hear a recording of yourself for the first time, you're embarrassed by, and you don't even realize you're saying it, but you are saying it. And so the AI just cuts that out. And what's really cool is it cuts it right out of the video at the exact same time. So the last thing that I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to want to put a title screen onto the video. Now, you don't even have to do this, right? I'm just scrolling along the video here. I'm going to get back to the beginning. Okay. And I could drop a title screen in here, and I did. Okay. It's what is fitness? Where did I get that from? I got it from Claude. You guessed it. Part of the output of that Claude command was to give me this title screen. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, because I've got edited video and audio, is I'm going to export both from here. So I'm going to hit the export button. Okay. So it's going to start with the what is fitness title screen. I'm going to do a local export. If I wanted to, I could export this straight to YouTube. I could skip the next step of downloading it and re-uploading it to YouTube. But I download it first because when I re-uploaded it, I just want to copy paste the YouTube description and everything else from Claude too. That's all. So I'm going to export that. Okay, good. Just hit export. Then I'm going to hit the audio. What do I want here? Okay, yeah, I want the MP3. That's great. Boom. Export that too. It's going to show you here that it's exporting. Okay, there you go. It's going to show me where it's downloading and all that other stuff too. And now what I've got is I've got a super good video. I'm going to put that on YouTube. I've got super good edited audio that I'm going to put on my podcast hosting platform instead of, the voice recorder that I did was pretty good. It's probably like a B-, but this is an A+. They're edited, all that stuff. If you've got like some intro music or something, you can easily put that in Descript here too. That's such a piece of cake. Okay. What that's going to give you is an audio file and a video file. The next thing that I'm going to do is upload that video file to YouTube. So I'm going to go to my channel here. Okay. I'm going to hit the create, upload that video. And of course, here we go. I'm going to drag and drop it. Okay. From there, though, now I need to go back to Claude and I want to get all of my YouTube assets, which were already made for me. So here we are in Claude again. And remember, here's my YouTube thumbnail. It's already made for me. Okay. I can upload that to YouTube already. There's already a YouTube description here. So if I go back to the markdown file here, okay, and I scroll down, all the text is in here. I can easily find, just got to scroll here a little bit. There's my Instagram carousel. Here we go. Here's my YouTube title. Pick one of these options. Here's the description. I'm going to copy paste. Okay. Put my website in, all that stuff. Here's my YouTube tags. And then I've already got my YouTube thumbnail to upload to YouTube already. It's just a matter of copying and pasting. What you can see here is there's the What is Fitness episode that I uploaded last week. Okay. It's only got 33 views. But what's interesting is shorts. Look at the views. Okay. Now look, 377, 236. What's this all about? So look, I've got 109 plus 236 plus 377. And these are all short form versions of that same video of, what is fitness? How did I do that? Here's like, I don't know, what is that, 700 views compared to the 33 that I had. YouTube shorts are really awesome. Well, I used another tool that's called OpusClip. So in OpusClip, you just drop that video that you just made in Descript and say, get clips. And what it will do is this. It'll take 6 or 7 minutes to do this, but it will find the salient points in that video and it will chop them up into 30-second reels or even a minute reels if you specify that. Okay, so you've got that great file. It's probably an MP4 from Descript that you downloaded. Now you can just drag that and drop it here into OpusClips. And what OpusClips is going to do is find the most salient parts of your video and then chop them up into 30-second reels. So it's going to do this automatically. So you drop this, it takes about 6 minutes, and then you click and here's all the different reels that it created: 12, 18, 24 options, 26 options for me. Okay. Good short clips. The cool thing here is it's going to give you kind of like a rating. What's the likelihood that this video will go viral on TikTok, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels? Here's what's really beautiful about this. Okay. If I want to share these things, I'm done downloading and copying. I can just publish this. So watch this. Publish to social. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to publish to the Catalyst Fitness Facebook page and the Catalyst YouTube shorts page. Okay. I don't have the Instagram here connected for Catalyst, but I could do that too. No problem. Publish now. Guess what? It's going to take about 25 seconds and then it's done. Now, if you're creating a lot of content like me, you're going to notice really quickly, hey, I can publish a ton of content, a ton of reels over and over and over again. So just to recap here, we started with an idea, or a parent asked a question. I thought, I know a lot about that. And I did a brain dump into my phone, recorded an audio file while I was driving to work. I put that audio file into Claude and I said, hey, make this something cohesive. By the way, here's an article that I would like to reference and work in there. Here's some of the science, whatever. Claude is going to give me a script lasting about 10 to 12 minutes. Half of that script, if you want to, can just be a preview of your programming for the week. That's really easy. If that's all you want to do is just publish an audio version, go record that script and upload it to your podcast platform. If you want a video version, use Zoom or use a teleprompter app on your phone. Record yourself just reading the podcast script that Claude gives you. After it gives you that script, it's going to make you Instagram reels. It's going to make you thumbnails for YouTube. It's going to make you WordPress featured images, WordPress blog posts, emails that you can send out, anything that you want it to. And so while you're reading that script, you've got all these assets just waiting for you. So you read that script, you get the video, you put it in Descript, You edit in Descript just by having the AI find the ums and the ahs and places where you were redundant or repeated yourself or went off on a tangent like I often do. That will get you a great polished video and great polished audio. You upload that audio onto your podcast platform. You copy paste the audio summary from Claude onto that platform, and boom, you're done. You publish the video to YouTube with the YouTube summary and the YouTube thumbnail from Claude. Boom, that's done. You put that video in OpusClips, and OpusClips generates you about 20 different potential reels. Once you've got that connected to your social, it's just a matter of pressing go, and it will post those reels to your social. Now, if you want to share the WordPress post or the podcast links on your social, that's really easy too. Just say, Claude, hey, can you give me 2 or 3 more graphics? I want to do a post on Meta about this, or can you give me something that's a little bit different for LinkedIn or different for Facebook? And it will just reformat things for you. The point of AI is not to replace you. You're irreplaceable. The point of AI is to act as your production company, your editor, your assistant in the studio, your script writer, so that you can get all of this done and still have time to go back out on the floor and do the human things that only you can do. This whole process has taken me about 54 minutes, including the videos. To just do the audio, it took me something like 24 minutes. And so I showed you how to make the blog post too, just to fill up the half hour, because that's all possible. The key though, you don't have to make this good. You don't have to follow the hacks. You don't have to use the AI even. You just have to do it, or you'll be invisible. I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym, and this is the exact AI stack that I use to make a week's worth of content in less than an hour.